All right, I want to welcome everyone to another Masterclass session for the Marketing Center of Excellence. I'm Lane Hauk, your host, and really excited about our November Masterclass. We're in part two called the Agency Technology Stack, or the Ultimate Agency Technology Stack. Last month in October, we started out on this two-part series of talking about the critical importance of the agency technology stack and the critical role that it plays in the success of a digital marketing agency. Quite literally, I've seen agencies spend years and years in quicksand, if you will, just because they're experimenting, tweaking, playing around with their technology stack, and they don't really realize the amount of time and energy and sometimes even resources, both economic resources and time resources, that it takes out of the momentum building activities like prospecting and sales when you're tweaking your technology stack and just trying to figure it out. We talked about how it's really quite a confusing journey as an agency, especially for those who are just jumping in now. When I jumped into the agency space back in 2010, there were maybe several hundred tools, software tools out there that we had access to that we could use as marketers in our agency to use for our client campaigns. As each year ensued from 2010 forward, the amount of marketing technology software has exploded. And I showed this, I'll bring it back up here. I showed this graphic of our tech stack. And there's this company, where were they? Probably find their image here, and then we can link out to it. I want to show you this for those of you who weren't here last month. Well, there we go. Chief Martech, there it is. This is 2020, and they have going back to at least like 2014 or 2012, 2011. Okay, so here has been the progression of the landscape. And like I said, back in 2010, 2011, there was a couple hundred solutions that were available to us as marketers. And then as each year ensued, here you can see today we have over 8,000 different marketing technology softwares out there that are available to us, notwithstanding all the new ones that continue to come out on things like AppSumo and PitchGround and things like that. If you're on any of those lists, you're just constantly getting bombarded, right? Between the marketing of all these software platforms that are available to us, and it's quite substantial. And I'm show you, here's what they call the Martech 5000. This is 2020. It's gotten obviously even bigger in the last 3 years. And so this landscape is extremely confusing, and it can literally consume years and years of an agency owner's life and just take momentum killing time away from the activities that really help you grow your company, your business, your agency. So we talked about this in part one last month in October. It's hard to believe we're at the end of November here. We're approaching December, the last month of 2023. We'll be marching into 2024. And my goal for all of you who are either here live today or will watch the replay is to provide you as much insight from my own experiences as possible in this journey that I took in my own agency and now our own white label agency today. To give a quick recap, I launched my agency in the late part of 2010. I started out as a web development agency and quickly gravitated towards adopting SEO to drive monthly recurring revenue. It was very apparent to me that being just a web development agency was going to be like a rat race or a hamster wheel. Every month we had to drive new sales just to drive that project revenue. When that project was done, there was no MRR left. And so quickly after in late 2011, we got into web hosting and SEO. And from 2011 to 2015, we grew the web and SEO services, and then also adopted PPC to just further enhance our monthly recurring revenue, MRR. And what I found is in 2015, I woke up and things were absolutely chaotic. I was spending easily 50 to 60 hours a week in the agency, just trying to manage everything, trying to manage the team members, trying to manage all these different softwares that we had. And I realized that I could, and we had been bumping up against $50,000 a month and really having a hard time getting beyond that. And what I did in 2015 to 2018, I spent literally 3 years condensing our technology stack because it was so bloated. There was so many different pieces of software that we had in our technology stack that it was really almost impossible to effectively and efficiently train our team members. It was really hard for them to keep track of everything. It was just chaos and expensive for me. And I just knew that there was no way that we were going to move forward in an efficient, profitable, effective manner with the current technology stack that we had. And so I spent literally 3-4 years of my life working very diligently with a very defined outcome that I wanted in our agency, and that was to have as condensed of a technology stack as was possible in a white label environment wherever and whenever possible, with as few pieces of individual software that we had and as much of them that would talk to each other as was possible. Because we had over 20 different pieces of software, none of them were white labeled, or at least very few of them in 2014, 2015. Almost none of them talked to each other. They were all kind of these siloed pieces of software that we were all using to do different things in our agency to keep everything going forward, and to keep that momentum. And it was really challenging. If you can relate to any of what I just said, put a 1 in chat if you don't mind, just to let me, if you guys relate to this, do you understand this? Have you gone through any of this in your own agency journey up to date? I'd like to get some feedback from all of you who are currently here live with me. I only got a couple of responses there. If you don't relate, it's okay. Put a 2 in chat if you just don't relate to this at all, and put a 3 in chat if you feel like you've already got this kind of nailed. You're like, I was in maybe that one stage where I was going through that frustration. 2, I feel like I've got it figured out. Or I'm sorry, 2, I don't really relate. Or 3, I've got it figured out. Okay, I see 4 more 1s there. Yeah, it's a real challenge. Like Mike said, it took some time to work through this. It took me really 4 years. Okay. I'm going to share with you guys the result of that 4 years. So I'll condense it down for you in today's episode or masterclass in terms of that 4-year journey for me and the software technologies that I landed at. I'll give you some of the reasons why, if I can, where it's appropriate. And of course, if any of you have questions along the way, put them in chat. I'll try to address them while we're talking and going through this. All of you are unmuted here who are live with me as well, so feel free to also talk with me. I'd like this to be interactive wherever possible, while I'm just trying to share with you the journey that I went through and condensing it down. Hopefully, you'll be able to take away some things from today that will help you in your journey, either just condensing your journey down from many years into maybe a few months going forward, and maybe even launching in 2024 with a solid technology stack. And then the biggest thing for me, in an ongoing way, and it's going to be for all of you the same, is learning how to say no, and learning to saying no to just, because I'm like, if you're like me, a lot of us in the marketing space are like this, is that we geek out on technology and new stuff. I like it. It's interesting to me. It keeps my brain happy and I get to just play around. So I like that. That's just how my personality is wired. And so that can be a real weakness, because I can easily just get sucked into another new shiny object, if we all have heard of that, shiny object syndrome. And that just takes time away from critical activities that really advance our company. So you have to really be disciplined. Once you have a technology stack that is working, you have to have the discipline to say no and say, if it's working, if it's not broke, let's not try to fix something that isn't broke. And so just be aware of that dynamic as you begin to settle on certain pieces of technology in your overall technology stack. Now, what I'm going to give you here, I'm going to show you, is basically a mind map, because I put this together maybe 3 years ago, and I've had it and updated it along the way. But here are the different major categories of software that I think every kind of average digital agency needs. We need project management. We need team chat. We need prospecting and sales software. We need social media software. We need reputation management software, directory listing software, ad campaign and reporting software. Those kind of maybe are 2 and 1 and the same. Call tracking software, CRM software, maybe funnel building software, especially if we're going to be doing any kind of PPC, calendar and booking software, email marketing software, SMS text marketing software, website hosting solution software, support desk software, PR, content marketing, content distribution software, billing, invoicing, and payment solution software, payroll and HR software, if you do anything with insourcing and building your own team. And then the whole category of research tools. You have all these different options here. And in this mind map, I literally went in and put a lot of the different options in here that we were, at least I had either tried in my journey or were currently using before I condensed this stack. And believe me, this stack was bloated. It was ridiculous. I woke up one day, we were spending thousands and thousands of dollars in software, and training our staff on how to use it all was just ridiculous. And so I just had to get rid of a lot of it and figure out what were we going to use, what was going to be our core foundational technology stack that really made the engine run. And what really makes the engine run really comes down to these pieces of the stack. And so this really outlines our technology stack today in our white label agency. Back when I was going through this exercise, I had a generalist agency that was serving businesses directly, and we had everything from chiropractors to adult living facilities to attorneys, auto repair shops, auto body shops, you name it. We had all the different home services. I had a very good broad generalist agency, and just hadn't decided to niche in that early part of our agency journey. And ultimately, when we launched our software, Signal Genesis, in 2019, in mid to late 2019, I then transitioned our generalist agency into the white label niche. So today, Quantum Agency is my niche agency. We are a white label agency. We serve other agencies with fulfillment. And this is the technology stack that we still have today that runs the agency. It also ran our generalist agency before we went into that niche. So let me just pick it apart here real quick. I do have kind of the pieces of this and what this does in this mind map, okay? And so going back to 2015, we were at number one. Project management was the first big piece of software that we needed to have. Just giving you a little insight into our journey. I did outsource in the early parts of our agency. I did use other white label partners. It went okay, but I could never find a white label partner that provided consistency in quality and consistency in communications. Communications were spotty, up and down. Sometimes they were great, sometimes it was awful. And quality of work products, sometimes it was great, sometimes it was awful, and I'd lose a client over it. And so about 3 years into it, I decided that I was just going to build my own team and stop worrying about the predictability and consistency or lack of it with the white label partners that I had up until that time. Today, that's one of the key drivers of our white label agency, is that we are really obsessive about quality communications and quality work product and being consistent in that with our white label partners, because it was my biggest frustration when I tried to outsource in the early days of my agency. So when I insourced from like 2012 to 2015, we were using Basecamp. And Basecamp was okay. It was still a great software, but it really, as we grew, Basecamp didn't grow with us. And I knew we needed something better. But on top of that, we were using Basecamp for project management. We were using Slack and Skype, a combination of them, for our inner team member chats. And then I was experimenting with support desk software in that process, because as we were growing, I knew we needed to implement a support desk. We were too big now to just handle a few clients via email when they had some requests. We had too many clients, and so we needed a support desk system. So I was experimenting around with, I have it in here. I should have it in here. Here it is. I was experimenting with Freshdesk and Zendesk, and I really didn't like either one of them. And neither one of them really talked to Basecamp, and Basecamp didn't have any type of internal chat. In 2015, we went to Teamwork. So Teamwork today runs a large part of our operations as an agency. It runs our team chat. So all of our team chat, and I'll show you this in a second. It runs all of our project management. We are a very deep project management type of culture. Everything that we do is in project management. We don't take on a new client campaign on behalf of an agency without there being a new project in our project management system to manage that entire campaign on behalf of our client, the agency, and the ultimate end client, the business. So project management is critical. and then support desk and knowledge base. Teamwork handles all of this in a white label environment, meaning we have it on our own domain. If we decide to ever give any client access to our project management, to their project, they would never know it's Teamwork, which was a key component of what we wanted in our agency. Even when I was a generalist agency, I wanted a largely white label environment because I didn't want our clients to know the different technologies that we were using for them to get results. I just felt like that was part of our intellectual property. And the less that our clients knew about how we operated and how we drove results for them, the better. I still think that's a really good principle that every agency should adopt in this journey, is as much as possible, reveal as little as possible, really, to your clients regarding how you make the magic happen. A large part of this is this technology, because the clients can go out to that MarTech landscape and fumble around with themselves for years and or forever, because they don't have the time to dedicate like we do as an agency to what really makes the magic happen. Project management system enveloped support desk, team chat, and project management all in one. That was a huge component of creating efficiencies in our operations as an agency when we went to and we adopted Teamwork in 2015. Today, we have a very well-oiled system inside Teamwork. We have project task list templates. We can deploy a new SEO campaign, a new SEO plus PPC plus web dev project in sheer minutes. Whereas back in the early days, we were developing all of those individual tasks. In Basecamp, it was hard to really systemize that. And then when we went to Teamwork, we began to really build our systems, our operational systems, because Teamwork had the capabilities to do it, and a lot of them that this Basecamp didn't have. There's a big debate today whether it's ClickUp or Teamwork or Monday, maybe in third place, Monday.com. But I think the big debate today between agencies is whether it's ClickUp or it's Teamwork. For me, I have stayed away from ClickUp. I say no to ClickUp. I will always say no to ClickUp. We are in Teamwork. Our systems are built around Teamwork. Teamwork works very well. It does some things very well that ClickUp doesn't do, but they're both great systems. We could debate for days about which one is better. The bottom line is you got to pick one and then stick with it, because if you build your systems around it, then moving later becomes very disruptive. So that was the first big component where we create efficiencies by getting rid of multiple different pieces of software and combining that into one system that handled multiple functions inside of our agency operations. So support desk and project management have been handled there. In 2017, we had multiple hacks in 2015, 2016, 2017 of our sites and even some client websites. We were in WHM and cPanel for hosting during all of those painful years of hacks. We learned how to lock the websites down with a pretty tight plugin suite. And we went to a non-WHM hosting system in 2017. And in the last 6 years now, we haven't had one site hacked ever in 6 years. We really nailed that down in 2017 because it was an existential threat to us as an agency, because we just hadn't figured that out yet. So me and Matt, my partner, really dove in and figured that out in 2017, went to a completely different hosting system with multiple layers of security. And today we have super fast private servers for every single website that we host, including our own, obviously. That was a really big, important piece of the puzzle if you decide to host, because if you have sites getting hacked, your life is absolutely miserable. And that forms a major foundation in our technology stack today, because we're hosting our own websites, and we do it for agencies and their end clients. So that's a piece of our foundational piece of the technology stack. In 2017, we also went to Vasta. Prior to Vasta, we had at least 7 other different pieces of software that were being handled by different pieces of software, and Vasta swallowed all of them up into a white labeled platform that gave us essentially reporting, social media management, reputation management, directory listing management, along with several different sales and prospecting features that were handled by different pieces of software prior to that as well. In 2017, I had looked at Vasta leading up to 2017. I looked at them in 2015, 2016, and they just weren't ready I wasn't ready to move into us into their system in those years. To me, it was still too clunky. But by mid to late 2017, whenever it was, and we made that move, they had really refined things enough for me to say, okay, this is actually going to help us create more efficiencies. We're going to be able to swallow a bunch of different pieces of software that are not white labeled today, like Bird Eye, Rep Kahuna. What was the social media software we're using? I forget now, but we were using a social media software that wasn't white labeled either. And so we were able to swallow all that up and create a lot of efficiencies by going into Vasta in 2017. So Vasta swallowed up at least 8 different pieces of software that we were using prior that were all different. So I had 4 different pieces of software here that got swallowed up by teamwork. I had 8 here. So we're talking about 12 different software pieces, 12 different software vendors. Most of them were not white labeled. Most of them didn't talk to each other, that now got swallowed up by 2. Okay. So just think of training and efficiencies that we started to realize in our agency as these softwares were adopted and then implemented and executed. Because you can have great software, not execute, not implement, not adopt it, and then it's just a tool sitting on the shelf. Okay, so that was that. In 2018, late 2018, I finally said yes to go high level, and because I had been in, this was painful. We had tried just about every CRM out there: SharpSpring, Zoho, Agile, HubSpot. It's Keep now, Infusionsoft. There's more I tried, and it was painful. I could never find one that really worked for an agency. High level, while it's not perfect, it does have issues. It's still awesome. I love it. I'm a big fan. We use it in our own agency. We use it for our software, Signal Genesis. We use it for call tracking. And high level quite literally replaced another, I think, 9 different pieces of software. I got rid of ClickFunnels, Calendly, call tracking software, pipeline management software, Ring SMS and ringless voice drop software. There's a few more I'm sure I'm missing here. The Infusionsoft or our marketing automation type software. There's like quite literally 8 different pieces of software that high level has now replaced for us. And so now so if you take 12 plus 8, now we're at 20, right? 20 different pieces of software that used to not talk to each other. I now have 3 in my technology stack. If you add in the enterprise hosting system there, which we're using GridPane for a layer of managed server management and security, plus Vultr servers, you got four pieces of technology there really running what used to run off of 21, 22 pieces of software. Signal Genesis, we built that. That was for SEO fulfillment. SEO fulfillment before comprised of both manual actions and multiple pieces of software. And we decided to just go ahead and build that. And so we implemented that into the stack in 2019 after we went live with what was then Quantum Newswire, now Signal Genesis. And that replaced multiple manual components in our SEO fulfillment, along with several pieces of software. And so that today is what literally runs obviously I have my research tools. So we use SEMrush for our research. It's expensive. I hate it, but I could go into Ahrefs. That's even more expensive. They're 2 sides of the same coin. You got to have one of those if you're going to have an agency. You got to have the ability to do the research and keywords, content, website audits, things like that. But so I don't include the research in this because those may change from time to time. The core pieces of technology that truly run our agency every single day are right here in this technology stack. Underpinning this as a kind of a foundation, you got to have a great lead gen prospecting and sales system. An agency that doesn't have a really well-oiled lead generation, prospecting, and sales system is bound to struggle and struggle and struggle. Okay. You have to have that. That's like the foundation of any company. But for a marketing agency, you've got to have this as part of your foundation. Obviously, high level handles a lot of this for us. And then you've got to have your lead gen channel drivers where you drive the channels that drive your leads. But high level largely handles the majority of our lead gen system or prospecting and sales system for both of our companies. And then I believe every agency as a foundation needs to have kind of a mentorship, mastermind, peer or peer group that they're a part of that just gives you some clarity, gives you sometimes sanity, and a peer group that you can bounce ideas off of and talk to. The Marketing Center of Excellence certainly is a component of this for agencies. And then I've been a part of the 7-figure agency group with Josh Nelson for 4 years, where I get my own mentorship and peer group feedback as well, because no matter what level of agency you have, you're still going to always have needs that you can get met by a peer group and a mentor group. So that truly is what I believe to be both the foundation and the ultimate agency technology stack to run an agency. I'm not here to debate whether it's ClickUp or Teamwork. You've got to decide for yourself. But once you have these things, we don't change. I see the new things about, oh, ClickUp is doing this, ClickUp's got that feature. I am not changing I'm not going anywhere with Teamwork. We are embedded in Teamwork. It is quite literally a big piece of our systems that run our business. So same thing with any of these other pieces. Okay, any questions about this? Go ahead and put them in chat, or feel free to come on live if you'd like. While I'm giving you a chance to either, type in some questions or think about them, I'm going to go ahead and just go back in live and start showing you how we have this set up. Okay, so this is high level, and I'm going to show you how we have our entire technology stack is literally built on the businesscenter.app domain. Okay. The reason we do this is because we're a white labeled niche agency. And obviously, if you are a legal in the legal marketing space, this might be lawfirmmarketingpros.com or something like that as your domain. But because we're a white label niche, we chose a gray labeled vanilla domain to build our entire technology stack on, so that anytime that we have any interaction in our technology stack with either agencies or potentially with the end user clients, there's no revelation that Quantum Agency is the agency, the white label agency behind the scenes. Okay, that's why we chose that domain. So high level is built off of BDC, standing for Business Development Center. It could be crm.businesscenter.app. We just chose BDC, but our entire high level agency account is built off of the businesscenter.app domain on the BDC subdomain. Our project management system is built off projects.businesscenter.app. Okay. And then if I want to go into team chat, I can go in here to Teamwork Chat, and I have all of my team chat threads right here. So I've got my website projects team. I've got my digital marketing team. I've got my all team members channel when we got to communicate with all team members. I got my graphic design team members channel. I've got my basically account management and new client onboarding channel. I've got actually a different channel for Signal Genesis support. I've got my HR channel for my HR director and my ops manager. So you have different team chats, and then all of our chats are in here instead of Skype or Slack or something in the alternative, right? And so this is all directly integrated into Teamwork. I can go between Teamwork Chat and Teamwork Desk. Yes, Teamwork does have a light version of a CRM. We don't use their CRM, obviously, because we're using high level, and Spaces is just a new feature that we don't use well. But we use Teamwork Chat, Teamwork Projects, and Teamwork Desk. Teamwork Desk is where we manage our support desk, all of our support tickets. Any kind of support tickets that we have can be immediately turned into a ticket. If I wanted to just take this as a spam email that came into support, but if I wanted to make this a ticket, I could immediately make this into a task and say, this is what this support ticket needs to be handled. I could select the project it's going to go into. I could select the task list in that project that it's going to go to, and I can literally assign it to a team member right here from a support desk ticket. And so this direct integration between Teamwork Desk and Teamwork Projects and potentially even Teamwork Chat, if we need it, is all seamless because it's all one platform through Teamwork. And so that's how we handle project management. And anytime I can go in here as a manager level, executive level. I can see exactly what's going on project by project with up to the minute, what's going on, which team member has done what, and I can see who's working on what. So I literally have up to the minute activity on every single task, subtask that's being completed by any and all of our team members within the team. Let's see here. And then our GMB management and heat map software. We use LeadSnap currently. We're actually currently in the process of beginning to build out an entire GMB management and heat map component inside Signal Genesis. So in 2024, we'll actually have this software inside Signal Genesis ourselves. But currently we use LeadSnap for these features, and this is where we do our heat map or GeoGrid reporting and GMB management components. And that's on local.businesscenter.app, as you see here. And then, like I said, Vendasta is a key component of our technology stack still today. When we give any access to a business, it's on login.businesscenter.app. So both the agency and their clients get reporting within the login.businesscenter.app. And then if they go into, let's say, listings management, they can go into that and see it right here. They can go into social media management and manage all of their social media accounts. Again, it's the Vendasta platform doing this, and you can see it's on social.businesscenter.app. Our entire technology stack is on the businesscenter.app domain using several subdomains as appropriate. If we go back to that mind map, you can see here, there's the Vendasta system. I've shown you the teamwork project management system. I've shown you our high level system. Signal Genesis is obviously on its own. And then our hosting environment is in a kind of a back end system that is not needed for a front end domain on businesscenter.app. So that pretty much rounds out just showing you guys our technology stack, the way it is online, and which components are in the cloud, and then a few of the components that are just in the back end that we manage on our own. Okay, I spent about 35 to 40 minutes here laying the foundation, doing a recap of last month, laying the foundation about this technology stack, sharing with you a little bit of our journey as a generalist agency into our white label agency, and then actually revealing the actual pieces of technology that we use that run our key operations and fulfillment and sales, prospecting and sales. I'm done there. Are there any questions? You can either unmute yourself or you can type it in chat. Any questions? There's no way I have talked that much and no one's got any questions or any comments. If you got any feedback, if you've got any part of your own journey you want to share, any questions, now I'll open that up now. And if we don't have any, then we can call it a day, and then I'll go ahead and process the replay too.
Lane, tell me about Vendasta. What are you specifically doing in there? Just social media and your reporting? Is that basically what Vendasta is doing for you?
A little bit more. I'll come back over here. So we're using it for reputation management. So it replaced Birdeye, Grade.us. It'll replace any of those reputation management softwares. Obviously, the nice thing about Vendasta is it was built for agencies in a white label environment. So the entire software platform is white labeled in terms of any kind of end client or end user access to it. You put it on your own domain, whatever domain you choose, and subdomains. It also, so rep management, social media management, listings and citations, they have direct integrations with Uberall and Yext. Again, both of those are in a white label environment. And then they also have an integration with the major data aggregators. So this forms part of our SEO fulfillment, right? In order to move the needle in maps and organic SEO, we need to be generating new reviews. Certainly you can use high level for this as well. There's some crossover here. High level and Vendasta do have some crossover features, although they do have some unique features that each of them have that the other does not have. And so that's why we still use both. I would love to have the day where one of these took over and does everything that the other one does, that we could just swallow up both of them into one, but I don't know if that'll ever happen.
Yeah, that was my question, because I did see a lot of overlap there, but I guess
Sure.
the goal would be to remove one eventually if you could, huh?
Sure. Yeah, that would be the goal. I would love to see high level just integrate a few more things that they would be able to do that would be able to just then I'd be able to close out Vendasta.
What are those specific things?
More directory listing and citation integrations for SEO purposes. All they have right now is Yext. Better reporting. They really don't have good reporting. The
Yeah,
report stinks. Social media management needs to be a little bit more seasoned, but I think that's pretty close to then swallowing up what Vendasta does. They really don't have a full suite of reputation management. They're not. You couldn't replace Bird Eye where Vendasta does. Why? Because Vendasta is monitoring all of the major review sites, not just Google. They have a direct integration with both Google and Facebook for review responses. And they're in the reporting, they're getting all the reviews out there from places like Yelp, you name it, all the other review sites.
thanks.
So that's not there. And then the snapshot report is pretty awesome. High level doesn't have that. This is a great tool to get the conversation going with a new prospect. So there's a whole suite of things that Vendasta built for helping agencies actually acquire new clients, prospecting and sales. They have a whole module inside of their platform that is pretty awesome for this that high level doesn't have yet. So that's why we have both currently. Answer, does that help?
Definitely, thanks.
Yeah, you bet. If, as an aside, if any of you today live or watching this on a replay are interested in Vendasta, may have maybe inquired with them before, I can get you a substantial discount off of their enterprise level account. It'll save you over 10 grand a year type of discount. So don't go directly to Vendasta. If you'd like to explore getting an account with them, I will save you over $10,000 a year on their enterprise level account. And it'll be as cheap or less than their mid-tier account that if you go directly to them. And the reason is that there's just no commissions. There's several layers of commissions and management that you have at a big company like Vendasta. You're just not going to pay when you go directly through us. That's enough on Vendasta. Any other questions that you guys might have about any of the things that we've discussed today? Great question too. Thank you. Any other questions? Come on, guys. If not, we'll end it today. Richard, we're using Vendasta for tapping into the citation and listing ecosystem because of their integrations with Uberall, Yext, and the data aggregators. And then we use their social software to anytime that we're doing any kind of social media, social signaling, right? So if we go into the social software here, their social software will connect to, I'll show you here. It'll connect to Facebook, the GBP, Instagram account, LinkedIn, both personal and pages, and Twitter X. Okay, so once these accounts are connected, then we can go and we can compose a new post here, select media here, and post to all the connected accounts in one post instead of having to go to each 5 different posts, one for Instagram, one for LinkedIn, one for Twitter, one for Facebook, one for GBP. Our team can effectively and efficiently create the post here and then post it. You can also obviously schedule it out into the future if you want to schedule posts. So when we do social posting for client campaigns, we develop the social post for the entire month. They go to the client for review. Once they're reviewed and approved, then the posts get added into the social software here and scheduled out for the entire month, and then the whole month just happens in terms of posting. Obviously, you get good data analytics reporting on what you do here as well, and it also pulls in data from the different social accounts. So that's how we use the Vendasta suite in terms of their social module. They call them software modules, if you will. When we're I'll just go into the Marketing Center of Excellence as an example. When we're inside of an actual business or company that we've boarded into the Vendasta account, we can then activate the different software modules that we want to activate for that company. And then once those are activated, then the company, in our case, both the agency and the end user get access to the Business Center app, what we call the Business Center or Web Presence Center. They get access to that. And that's where they get their executive report, which comes out weekly and monthly. So there's a weekly report and a monthly report that is generated by the Vasta reporting suite. It takes in all the data from Google Analytics, Google Search Console, the Google listing, the listing ecosystem, the review ecosystems, and then it puts all that into a nice weekly and monthly executive report. And that's in the cloud. And then the client has access to the reporting for their campaign or for their business anytime they want to get access to it. So that's how we use it for solving the reporting needs as well, because reporting obviously is a big deal. You could have agency analytics, Raven tools, Bright Local. There's obviously a number of reporting components. What I like is that in a white label environment, Vasta takes rep management, social management, directory listing and citation management, and reporting, and puts all of that into a white labeled, unified, kind of seamless environment. Again, it's a big software tool. Are they perfect? No. Do they have some bugs? Do they have some things they could do better? Yeah, but so does High Level, and so does every other software platform that you might use. There's no such thing as a perfect software tool. Teamwork, there's some things every once in a while we have to throw in a new bug support ticket with Teamwork because there's a bug that we find or what have you. They're constantly changing and innovating on their side. None of these software technologies that we've discussed today, none of them are perfect by any stretch, but they all work very well. And I can tell you, we run a multiple seven-figure agency off of this technology stack. So it definitely will work for you. Any other questions or any feedback before we call it a day? I'm not seeing any. So if that's the case, then we will go ahead and call today a wrap. Yeah, I don't see any other questions coming in here. So I want to thank everyone for your time and attention. I really hope that this added some value to your agency journey. By all means, if you have any follow-up questions or any needs that you'd like to, you can certainly follow up with me directly on all of the different channels that you can get me on: Facebook, LinkedIn. I monitor all those channels, email. So feel free to reach out if there's anything I can do to help you in this journey as well. We'll get the episode, the masterclass here, produced here probably the next 7 to 10 days, and the replay will be up mid to late next week. Really appreciate everyone again showing up today. Thanks for your questions, your feedback. Have a great rest of your week, and we'll charge into December. Be on the lookout for announcements about our December masterclass. Thanks again, everyone. Have a great week. We'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye.